Hello, this is Fi. We're checking out FPMV. This is a game I've not played before. We're going to give it a playtest and see if we can give some useful feedback. I have some residual effects from being sick, so if I sound funny, that would be why, but we're going to give this a shot. I've not seen anything past this screen here. I guess we're going to jump right into this and see what happens. Looks like we got new game, load game, options, exit. Let's see if the options works here. Looks like a gameplay. Oh, there's a lot of options. Wow. All right. We got some nice little tooltips. Interesting. Head bob, fade HUD, show attack duration, graphics. Field of view is at 100. Vertical sync is off. It is on windowed full screen though, so I'm going to see if it looks like exclusive full screen is going to work. That's nice to see. Anisotropic filtering. Cool. So lots of settings here already. We got our sound here, controls, mouse sensitivity is here. One thing that does occur to me is there might be particular settings that the player kind of wants to get to quicker, like maybe the mouse sensitivity one. I don't know if that's something that's worth putting more towards the top or something, but we'll see how that works out. I don't know what to set this to yet because I haven't gotten into the game. Default map manipulation, rotate or pan. We've got our key bindings here. So jump is space, left control, left shift for dodge, interact is E. That all sounds good to me. Kick is X. That's a strange one. Thumb mouse button. So I assume that's like M4 and M5. I've never heard it called a thumb mouse button, like inside of a game. So I wonder if you might want to, if that is at mouse 4 and mouse 5, I wonder if you might want to just stick to calling it mouse 4 and mouse 5 for the sake of consistency. And it's not impossible that somebody has a weird mouse that has like mouse 4 and mouse 5 that's not like under the thumb or something, like that is something that could happen for like an input device like that where they're all made a little different. But I guess you have some of those that have like the freaking like phone dial in front of the thumb where there'd be like a lot more than just button and button 2. I don't know, but in any case, num plus. Okay, so this obviously is rebindable. So I guess I can't complain about that too much. I don't know how much I'd use that. I think in like Half-Life used to use Q, I think, for last weapon. Looks like that's mapped to radiant crystal. So there's a lot of buttons in any case, it looks like. But let's go ahead and see if we can go back into. Do we just click on save? That's a little weird. Wait, how do? Oh, so okay, I didn't even notice these over here. So we can actually click onto these. So I guess I'm looking for like a way to get back out of this. So that looks like escape key works. In my opinion, it's like a necessity to have the escape key kind of work as a back inside of a menu like this. However, I also think you should definitely have like a clickable thing. Because you want to have like a certain amount of consistency. Like if you have a mouse interface, everything you're doing here is with the mouse pointing and clicking. So you need to have like a button to navigate back out of here. So I was down here and like clicking the save button because I don't see any like back button. Yeah. In any case, let's go ahead and click on new game. Looks like we're selecting a file. Wow. All right. So we've got our mouse look. It does feel like it's a little bit too high in the sensitivity. So, oh, interesting. So if I hit escape, it doesn't go into. All right. So it takes a couple of extra inputs to find the options menu here. I guess we're going to want to go down to here. I don't know, is that different? It doesn't feel a lot different. But yeah, so I have to do a few, and this didn't take that long, but it is a few inputs to get back to this. It can be nice if that's just a little bit more, less things in between me and getting to this, but it's not that bad, really. I think that's better. This is really hard to look at, like the the red text on like this background of this horrific layers of weird gradient bars. Um, I mean, even here, the red text is kind of painful to look at, but that's like, oh my gosh. In any case, this is obviously placeholder type stuff, but relevant controls to the right. Hold space to jump higher. Interesting. Different body parts are vulnerable to different damage types, and some take increased or reduced damage. Healing drains the yellow bar. Killing enemies fills it. So we got bottom left, we got a yellow bar, it looks like. This is not going to be the start of the game. Things written in these messages are meant to be introduced earlier. Oh, okay, so this is supposed to be like a further point in the game. I guess the demo has a proper end. There are no bug doors or anything. So the view bobbing is maybe a little bit much. It's especially annoying if you're trying to read text like this, but I think even, yeah, it just seems kind of a bit much to me, but it's a smaller detail, I guess. Interact is E, sheath slash unsheath is H. That's quite a reach. I would never use H personally. Interesting arm. Very white. Hold to charge the attack, cancel attack, mouse back button. Okay. Block is mouse forward button. Okay, so again we're using these weird terminology. So back button and forward button, is that the thumb buttons? Or is that something else? I don't know what else that would be. Because yeah, again, I don't think that's something you could necessarily say is consistently going to be something you can call back and forward. I know, like, I have a pretty standard mouse layout. And like if I'm using a web browser, I have that map to forward and back in a web browser. Like that's what it makes me think of. But that's not necessarily going to be the case for everyone. And also, not everyone has those buttons at all, so that's something to consider also. Do I have to use the H? Wait. Oh, so I can't. Wait a minute, what? How does this work? I did it before. Oh, I have to move the mouse? So I guess you move the direction you want to. Interesting, okay. So you move it the way you want to kind of charge up. I guess you can't just click and release. I mean, you sort of can. It does this. You can kind of spaz. I don't know how effective this is in actually doing hits. It looks ridiculous. So I guess if like a wall or something is in the way, you just don't do the attack. Interesting. So there does seem to be something of a timing element where like after you do an attack, you can't really do another attack until you've like fully recovered to your hand to this position. And what I'm noticing is that it's easy to like click the mouse, like click and hold slightly too early, and then it just does nothing. It basically eats the input. So you might want to have it actually buffer that so that if the player mistimes it slightly, which is very easy to do, they'll start doing their next attack once it's able to do that. Because it's one of those things that's really annoying. It feels like the game isn't doing what you're telling it to do. But this is interesting anyways. So I want to know, yeah, so I don't like using the H button, H key, but also there's just so many buttons already, like even with like using these other extra mouse buttons and everything, which is probably not, it's probably ill-advised because those aren't actually standard buttons on PC mice. But just the number of buttons, I think anything you can do to kind of cut this down might be the way to go. And one thing that occurs to me is, why not just be able to click the attack button to take out the weapon here? And then maybe you could have a button that's like for sheathing it, you know, which is fine, I guess. But at the very least, I don't see why I can't just click to bring that out so I can start doing my attacks. Like, it just seems like an unnecessary input there. Heal is Z, dodge is shift, so I guess you're gonna have to be pressing a direction and then you do a dodge. Looks like you can go. So I think this is gonna have, okay, so again, a little bit similar to what I was saying before about maybe buffering inputs. I noticed in particular, if you press shift first and then press the direction, it doesn't do anything. You have to like press the direction and then the shift button. And this is something that can be really easy, especially for newer players, but just in general, it can be very easy if you're trying to like play quickly to just lack just the smallest amount of coordination in your fingers and end up pressing the shift before the direction key, and then just like nothing happens, and that's really annoying. It's like, you know, especially something like a dodge where you really need it in the middle of an action scenario. That's something I've noticed in other games as well that have done this kind of thing, where it's like, I don't see any reason why not to just allow the player to press shift first and then the direction key to do the dodge, just to have it work both ways, so that you don't get into the situation where just a slight difference in timing will be the difference between it doing nothing and doing the dodge that you asked for. And I think, again, it's a little bit cramped area, but I think there is a bit of that effect, like I mentioned before, where there's like a space of time after you do the dodge before you can do it again. And if you do the input just a little too early again, I think it just eats the input. So that might be another place where you can do a buffer that would help ease out that timing for the player. I don't know what this thing is that I've... Looks like the E button is for that. Radiant Crystal, Q to use, backspace to dismiss. Now, I don't know what that is. So I pressed Q just now. Okay. So the only thing I didn't see anything happening at first. I did see the little blue bar in the bottom left was going down, which is kind of hard to see, like that. Those bars don't stand out as well as I think they probably ought to. But I did notice that, and I guess I can see my character's hand ever so slightly glows. So apparently this is like, all right, yeah, if I'm close to the wall, I can kind of see the wall light up, but only if I'm like really close. So this apparently is like some kind of a light. I mean, it's a radiant crystal, but that's interesting. But I think you want to make the effect a lot more dramatic, just for the sake of feedback, you know, for the player to understand what's happening there. We can do this. Okay, looks like our crouch is kind of instantaneous. It's a little jarring, but that's fine. Like I can't really do this in here. So I'm noticing now in the top right, there's like a 3D map effect going on. I didn't see that until just now. I don't know what... Trying the E button. I don't know what this is. Maybe I go through... Oh, okay, I can just open this. Heal is Z. Press Z just now. The yellow bar kind of lit up for a moment. Oh, I think the number on the bottom where it says 100 is the health probably. So yeah, I mean this is obviously kind of placeholder UI stuff, but be nice to have some of this stand out a little bit more, I think. Oh, kick is X. Okay. I didn't expect like the naked leg with the toes and everything. It's kind of funny. It's a funny kick animation, but there you go. Kicking with the left leg. Yeah, again, there's so many buttons. Like, I feel like I should use something other than X for kick, but I don't know if I want to try remapping stuff right now, especially I don't even know how many other buttons I'm going to be making use of here. I think I want this out, though. So, yeah, okay, so doors are kind of a bane of game development. So I kind of expect this to be janky, I guess. It might be nice if it kind of opened in the direction that you're facing instead of like pushing you out of the way, but you know, stuff like that. This is all just kind of a technical nightmare trying to make doors work in a nice way. Oh, that does not look like a friendly person. Oh, whoa, holy, he's so fast. Holy, what the heck? Oh my gosh. I can't. Wow, okay. Yeah. Interesting. That was so weird. I mean, he's like, he's just shuffling around so slowly and then he just sprints at you. So I was trying to get my attack out. I don't know, like if you get hit, does it like stun you out of your attack, or a lot of times I can't get this to work. I think it's because, okay, yeah, I see what's happening here. So yeah, you can see how it kind of pulls the sword closer, like when I turn to the right here. So there's this element of like you sort of have to have clearance for your sword in order to swing it, like even to begin swinging. Apparently you can even hit. It even has a hit effect, so either to begin swinging or to complete the swing, apparently you need to have enough clearance. Which is in itself is a bit of a questionable design choice, but that combined with how narrow all of this is, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, I'll put it that way. So like I can't really even like use the sword like almost at all unless I'm like very particular of like, which you know, given the amount of tension that this guy just put me under, it was like there was nothing that was going to happen that was good in that situation there. But yeah, so I don't think I like that, because it can just screw you over so easily, and you know, clearly this being so narrow just makes it like impossible to use. I guess, okay, so I guess you can do this. Okay, if I think about it, maybe I need to be doing thrusting attacks. I guess that occurs to me, like maybe that's not going to occur to everyone, you know. I'm not sure if that's... I mean, does this kind of flick? It kind of looks like it's supposed to be like hitting something, but I don't know if that's just supposed to be like a quick attack. I can't really tell. Yeah, so... Alright, yeah, I mean... understanding that I can do these like thrusting attacks pretty successfully here if I just take it slow and think it through. I will admit that's at least interesting that there is this element of, oh, I'm in an aerospace, I should do a different kind of attack. But I do wonder how often that players will realize that at all, and even if they do, like, you know, when you have these really high tension situations, are they going to be thinking about that? Especially if you can have enemies really fast like that. That could get really frustrating really fast. So yeah, interesting, but I'm a little bit wary of that. Oh, okay, so this is going to harm me, I guess. Yeah, just in general, I'm just having a bit of a hard time to like consistently get the attacks to come out. I think mostly because of the fact that it's, like I said, it doesn't have any of those buffers that would make this feel just a lot better. But yeah, I'm just screwing around. I don't know if there's some way to address that, but what the heck? Healing? This looks like some kind of a torture device. Oh, okay, so this gave me healing, and then there's like a timer, apparently. I guess that one doesn't work, I don't know. Yeah, so it might just be nicer in general if this opened on the inside, just to like, even just to keep this corridor from getting cluttered and always have to like close this behind you, you know? Oh wait, oh, okay. So this is not anything. So I guess I have to use the escape key to get out of this. Oh, I can't read it again. Okay. But yeah, so I would prefer there be some other input to get out of that also in addition to escape, because um, I'm basically still in gameplay, so I would like to be able to keep my fingers on the, you know, the gameplay buttons rather than having to reach for the escape. Just a little quality of life thing that would be nice here. Okay.
What the fuck did you just fucking say about me, you little bitch?
Alright, well.
I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs, and I've been involved in numerous
You're gonna get me
secret raids on
demonetized here.
Al-Qaeda,
Not
and
that
I
I
have
was
over
monetized in the
300
first place, but...
confirmed kills. I
Oh
am trained in guerrilla
my
warfare and I'm
gosh.
the top sniper in the entire
Press
US
F6 or
Armed
go to the
Forces.
save menu to save.
You are nothing to me but just another target. I will wipe you the fuck out with precision the likes of which has
Okay, so
never
it looks
been
like
seen
F6 is
before
like a
on this
quick
earth.
save, and I
Mark my
guess there's
fucking
like a
words.
menu
You
somewhere.
think
I
you
don't
can get
know.
away
Oh,
with
we just
saying
click on
that
this.
shit to me over the internet?
Okay.
Think again, fucker.
Alright, so, yeah. I'm noticing in the top right, this map is like growing. Really interesting to have a nice 3D map like that. Oh, see, this is a bit unfortunate. But yeah, pretty cool looking map. And I guess there's like a different mode to how it rotates or something. Map markers. Hold M to open the map marker menu. Click to select an icon and color. Okay, so I have to hold M. So my first inclination was to reach for the M key with my right hand, to take my hand off the mouse and reach for it because it's just so far away. And then it opens up this menu that I'm supposed to interact with the mouse while holding it down. It's just kind of ridiculous. Like, all right, we've got icons. It would be nice to have some tooltips here, so I don't have to like interpret what these mean. Like, I don't. Do I click on this? Oh, okay, different colors. Okay, so this put an icon. Is it like where I'm facing? Do I have to like aim it? Oh, okay. So I guess it's where I aim, like with the mouse. That's interesting. Nice. Okay, so like it puts it in 3D space where the map is. So that's very cool. So I don't like the choice of the M key for doing that. I don't know if are you even using the scroll wheel or something? Like I might consider doing like the middle mouse button. I don't know, something else that was a little easier to reach would be nice, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I understand there's a lot of buttons you want to put a lot of functions in the game. It is a PC game, so you can kind of get away with that. But not my favorite choices for all these buttons that you have to kind of reach for and stuff, but you know, you can get used to it. It's so okay. What if go to the map and then there's all right. This is whoop. So apparently you can right click to get out of here. So most of these menus don't seem to have that kind of option to do that. So it's interesting to see that here. I wouldn't personally use right click. um, now that we got to this point, I'd rather have right click do some other function, you know. And this, like, I have to use the escape key to open this, so I don't mind using the escape key again to close it if that makes sense. But you know, maybe there could be like an X somewhere you could click on or something. But yeah, I'd rather have right mouse button be able to do something else. So I was curious if there's a way to remove these now that I've put them there. It doesn't appear that you can so far, but I would definitely want to have that in some fashion in like a completed game, you know. Because I have to go this way, I don't see anything else to do. Stick. Oh, I didn't reach. Oh, he's got like a freaking pole arm. Oh, he's got so much reach. A freaking poleaxe wielding dude. I can't really tell if my attack. Oh my gosh, my attacks are doing anything. Oh gosh, I don't think that one even came out. I would like to know. Oh my, is this doing anything? Yeah, okay, so it seems like if you get hit, it cancels your attack. Which is like, that's pretty brutal. I guess I should try to use the dodge more, but yeah, I mean, that's a pretty frustrating concept. I mean, there's already so many other ways for the attack to fail with it, like colliding with the environment or with like you not doing the input correctly because you didn't wait long enough after the last attack, so it just doesn't do anything. You know, there's just so many different ways that the game just kind of defeats your efforts to throw out any kind of attack. um, so yeah, I think there's a pretty high frustration potential there. And not only frustration, but just a lot of players just might not figure these things out, like just not understand why it's happening. So I think that'd be something to be considerate of, even if there's like I can kind of see the thought process I think behind some of these choices, but yeah, I'm not sure if it makes more sense to do this kind of thing and just you know it is interesting, particularly on paper, but in practice, you know, sometimes things don't end up being as fun as they would be to just have something a little bit simpler, you know. And yeah, I just can't help but wish I could just kind of more consistently get attacks to happen, you know. But pretty interesting so far. I did feel like I didn't get the proper kind of feedback for when like my attacks did come out. Like it didn't appear like anything was happening. Like maybe nothing did happen. Like maybe that guy just isn't vulnerable to a sword or something for all I know. But yeah, I'd like to have some better feedback of some sort. Like even if I'm not actually hurting the guy, I'd like to see something that tells me like, okay, that this attack hit the skeleton, but it wasn't effective or something. You know, like it just kind of clanks or something. But yeah, I couldn't tell if any damage was done or not. So that's one of those things. I really need some kind of feedback here. Okay, I can't dodge while doing this, which is going to make this even harder, I guess. Okay, so it looks like there's a little bit of a flash around. Okay, yeah, see, not my first choice for sound effects, I guess, but I did get a little bit of like I guess it's a hit marker around the reticle there. So did get some feedback that I was looking for. Is Um, I think you can make it a little bit clearer, but wasn't that bad, I guess, once I actually got it happening there. Still pretty tricky. It does seem like you have to be pretty close. One thing you have to be very careful about in a first-person game with melee range weapons is that it's very hard to judge the distance for a weapon to hit in front of you in a first-person view. So it's kind of a necessity to sort of extend the reach of any of your weapons out um, further in front of the player quite significantly, just so that it kind of feels better. You just have to make it more forgiving, because if you do it in a like a realistic reach of a weapon, um, players are always going to misjudge it. It's just like a reality of life where it's just always going to feel like it doesn't reach far enough. And I think it might be I don't know how the field of view affects that, or actually that's just something that occurred to me. Maybe your field of view setting might even mess it up even further depending on what you set that to, you know. Can I pick this up, by the way? Is that like a thing? I don't know. But yeah, just something to mention, because it did seem like I had to get a little bit closer than I thought for this to reach. And that's something that it just feels so much better if you just stretch that out in front of the player um, in kind of a dramatic fashion, just so that it's more forgiving. I don't know what this big marshmallow is. I guess I can jump up on here, can I? Okay, there we go. Woohoo, we did something. All right, so again, could use some better feedback, I guess, because I pulled a lever and then I didn't notice anything happening. So with this sort of thing, you basically have one of two things that you can do once you pull a lever like this, is that either you see something happen or you hear something happen, right? And in this case, I guess the right thing to do would be to have some kind of an audio feedback, and it really helps to have a good positional audio setup so that you, in this kind of thing, you get a sense of like where it happened. Whereas in this case, I didn't get anything, so I don't really know. Like, was this? I don't think that was closed. I don't know what might have happened. Maybe this door up here. Oh wait, no, those were open before. That's still locked. I'm trying to get this to do a stab attack, but it was like. So I think what might be happening here is when let me guess. Wait, I do it and then I walk off. Okay, yeah, I guess I was just so when I look down a little bit and I kind of walk backwards, you can see how my sword is kind of, it keeps sort of coming, almost like hitting me in the face. So what this is indicating, I think, is that my range of motion is being obstructed, specifically because I'm like looking down at the stairs when I walk past them. And so like when I'm trying to do this attack, it's like it's not even letting me initiate it a lot of the time, like while I'm walking backwards, because you can't do it if the sword is close to your face like this. You can't initiate any attacks. So again, it's just eating the input. Um, yeah, so I'm just finding that just to be in general just a source of frustration, because I'm just not being able to successfully do what should be the most basic interaction in the game, which is just to swing the weapon that I'm holding. um, so yeah, I think there's some merit to the idea of like having to be considerate of your surroundings, and like the fact that the weapon can clank and your attack can fail, but I think the extent to which you're doing it is maybe not entirely necessary. I mean, especially when it comes to just initiating an attack in the first place. Um, you have a lot of these scenarios where it's just you're not able to do it because you're a little too close to the wall. I think it would serve the game a lot better if this just didn't happen, that you could just always at the very least, like, initiate the attack. And then, like, if the attack ended up failing, that's one thing. But if you can't even initiate it in the first place, that's particularly frustrating. Like, if I just want to, like, if I want to charge up a stab, maybe I don't want to stab it into this, but maybe I want to just like start doing it and then like turn over here and then do the stab or something like that, if that makes sense. So I think there's some very important considerations to make with regards to some of these little rules here and there that are kind of governing the way that this combat system works. Now, again, I don't know what else to do from this point on. I did find a lever, and I did not perceive that anything happened after pulling it. So either I haven't figured this out, or maybe something isn't working correctly. Here's our map. What is that? There's a check mark over here. All right, so for the map, I need some way to be able to like drag this around, right? I mean, I guess you could force the player to to have to walk over there to see the rest of the map or something, but that I don't think that's the goal here. So that's something I'm missing from our map controls here. But I guess I'm going to go back to where that check mark is. I don't know if maybe that's a save point. It is a little bit annoying that it goes to full zoom. Well, not full zoom, but very zoomed in every time you open the map. So I always have to zoom out. I think your default zoom should be something like this, maybe. But I guess we're going over here, right? Oh, I forgot that there's some things in here. Maybe it's the that black blob is what was affected by the I think the check might be just a save point or something, or it's just where you began the level. I don't know. Well, let's go check that black blob. So that's still there. I was thinking it would be pretty strange for the random magical aura of sorts to be affected by a switch in the wall. But yeah, I'm not sure what else to do. I guess he is guarding something that might be of value. We can't go this way either. I guess the only thing I can do is try to fight this guy, which I'm not feeling confident about. I kind of wish I could charge this up and then turn and like open this and then hit him, but I can't do that. It just doesn't let me do that. Oh my gosh, he's strong too. Why is he that strong? Apparently he's meant to not be someone you can just kill, because there's a couple of things that are happening. Because I can't attack while he's hitting me. The game doesn't permit that because it'll interrupt my attacks. So I guess I could try to lure him out to the open area, right? You would think he would see me. Alright, now this should be more manageable, right? Oh, so the timing seems to mostly work out so I can hit him and then just kind of move out of the way pretty successfully. He seems to have pretty abysmal reach on his attacks, which is kind of nice because that makes it more forgiving for me as a main character, Okay, I don't know what this is. Oh, map markers can be removed by pressing right mouse button while looking towards them with the map marker open. That's a little awkward. Trinkets can be equipped and unequipped from the equipment screen while you were in a safe area. You are limited. I couldn't read all that. Press tab on the equipment screen to open your trinket inventory. So unfortunately, I couldn't read the other message. I didn't say tab, or did I just... Trinkets is down here. Didn't say press tab. So I'm pressing the tab. I've got arms. I've got a little Reddit, or I'm sorry, Android icon here. Increases maximum favor by 1 level. We got a broadsword. So it told me about the trinket menu after I picked something up, but nothing is actually in the menu. That's kind of... Oh, okay. This is good. Okay. Trinkets can be equipped and unequipped from the equipment screen while you are in a safe area. You are limited in how many trinkets you can equip by how many trinket slots you have. Alright, so I am going to pause this recording real quick so I can use the bathroom, and I'll be right back. And I am back. Okay, so back to this. Something that occurs to me, there's a few things, I guess. But yeah, so in general, the game seems pretty unforgiving, especially that enemy that just like completely wrecks you if you don't address them very intelligently, I guess. It seems like there's a lot of potential for things to go bad very quickly, and where you apparently have this sort of manual save system, I think players who stick with this game would probably learn pretty quick to just kind of spam save like all of the time. I don't know if that's something you want, just like save before every single encounter. Some games kind of lend themselves to that kind of thing naturally, and it's sort of an unfortunate thing, but some games can't really escape that, where you're just constantly saving, and then like if anything goes bad, you just reload the save, that kind of thing. I don't know if you want that or not, but either way, you might consider doing a lot of auto-saving. I know this is sort of like a very non-linear sort of game, so it can be hard to work out points in which to do that sometimes. I guess depending, maybe if there's a specific way to progress, flip the switch to open this door, you could attach auto saves to things like that. But I'm just thinking about the fact that you can just... this feels like a game where you could play it for a while and like struggle through a lot of things, and then just suddenly, like, you open a door and some guy just like sprints out and kills you instantly, and or you like you can't get your attacks to work because they're hitting the wall, and all these things that can go wrong. I think there's a potential for a lot of frustration, possibly. So I'm just thinking about that. Okay, so let's go back to we've got trinkets. So the trinkets, I apparently picked up something that was I have to click on this. I see. Healing salve. Slowly restores health over time. So do I click? I can't click and drag. How do I equip this? Alright, I was not expecting this to be a button. Again, this is certainly going to be sort of placeholder UI stuff, so we can expect that there could be some more like visual design clarity to the fact that something like this would be a button, but I thought that this was just like a label, and then the trinkets are going to be down here. So I still feel like I should like try to put this into this bar or something. I don't know what these little things on the right are either. It does show two, like these sort of look like target type things, and then there's like two little bullseye things on the right that are different in design, but I don't know if those are related. But yeah, I'm clicking on this. I don't really see anything happening. This is our favor upgrade, health upgrade. Now, I don't know. I guess this is related to favor and this is related to health. So maybe that's what those are supposed to indicate, that it's something to do with health. Yeah, I don't see how to equip this. I guess we're gonna move on from that. The other thing is they're removing the marker, so apparently you're supposed to look towards the marker, then press right mouse button while the marker menu is open. So that is not what I would consider intuitive. Okay, so I'm noticing there's another checkbox on the map. So apparently that's where I picked up something. Apparently that's what those check marks are, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so I no longer have the markers. I guess because I loaded a save or something. I didn't save, or maybe I did the markers after I saved last. So apparently I'm supposed to look towards where the marker is in space and then right click, which seems to work, but of course it doesn't actually show where the marker is on the view screen here. So I'm not sure if that's intended to, like maybe if I'm holding M, it's supposed to show, like it's supposed to draw the marker on the screen here or something. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. That's kind of an awkward way to do things in any case. I'd much rather just be able to like go in here, just right click on it and just say like delete. You know what I mean? Because that's a very unintuitive way to do it in my opinion. Excuse me. In any case, oh, the bestiary is down here. Restless dead risen from their graves to terrorize the living. Alright. Oh, okay. I noticed there's a back button here. I think that's the first time I've seen like a back button in a UI here. So that's interesting. Yeah, so I don't see any way forward here. Why does that extend? I guess it's just the design of the lock. I don't know. Wait, why are you here? I guess I reloaded to so I okay, I think I must have reloaded to after, or I don't know what point I saved, but apparently that guy is alive again. Yeah, so what I'm noticing in the combat is that you've got your attacks, you do an attack and then you can't do a dash for like a while afterwards. Like you have to completely return to neutral before you can do a dash. And you also can't like you can't begin an attack until you completely end the dash. So so what I'm concluding is that it's really hard to make use of the dash inside of combat, which seems like the whole point of having a dash, right? Because of the way you have the timing set up, like I can't go back and forth between dashing and attacking quickly enough for it to make sense. Because after, like, if I wait for him to start throwing his attack and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna dash out of the way. If I do that successfully, then I don't have time to attack afterwards because my dash takes too long. Or if I try to attack and then dash out of the way, I can't do that either because my attack takes too long before I can do the dash. So I basically can't really make use of the dash. It just occurred. I just noticed there's another switch there. But I basically just can't make use of the dash unless I just don't want to attack, in which case why am I even trying to fight something, right? Like it doesn't really make any sense. So maybe I just run and jump or something. Yeah, there you go. All right. What? That doesn't seem like a good thing. Oh, okay. That was quite a delay there. Um, so yeah. It would be nice to have some more audio feedback on like these trellis things. Like if you can hear this one close and then hear this one go up, that would help a lot, I think, to keep cluing the player to what's happening. I just happen to be looking, but it's a bit of a problem in games like this. If the player isn't looking in that direction when something is happening, they probably will never know that it happened. So, and particularly where this is so symmetrical, like the player could just think that nothing had changed whatsoever and be quite confused because it kind of like looks the same. Like if I'm facing this way or facing this way, the room kind of looks the same. It's the same exact door and everything. So, um, yeah, but we got further. Whoa, gosh, that was real loud. And what the heck was it? And why did it hurt that much? Oh my gosh, that it shoots fast. Apparently, it leads its shots. So if you just run, you're probably gonna eat it unless you get behind a pillar like this. So yeah, I mean, there's no telegraph that this is gonna happen. It's just kind of. What? Why is he shooting so fast? Why is he shooting faster? What does it mean? Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, so I think something like this, it's really important to have a really good telegraph. So you need some kind of sound or something, like make it glow like it's like humming, it's charging up the attack, and then it's gonna hit you, something like that, so that the player, has more indication that this is about to launch something at you. The fact that it leads perfectly, I don't think that's really necessary. In this particular room, you've got to kind of set up like a puzzle. It kind of works because you can hide behind the pillars here. Is it Q to heal, by the way? Or Q is the glowy thing? Q is something. I think Q is the glowy thing that doesn't appear to be working anymore. I don't know what happened with that. What's the heal button? Maybe it's in the journal here. I guess it's, for some reason, my earlier hints are not in the journal. Maybe there's an issue with loading where it like deleted the hints or something that were before the save point. Um, what is the button? Oh yeah, you can block. I didn't even try that. Thumb mouse button too. Maybe that's why it's on this non-standard button that I don't reach for often. I actually usually don't even use that one at all. um, apparently right click is also back in the menu here. What's the heal? There's shoot. Okay, gotta look again. Interact, attack, block, reload, switch, kick. Oh shoot. Okay, so I have this mouse that I got. It's really easy for me to accidentally press the right mouse button. I just do it randomly. Um, so the fact that you have this set up so the right mouse button backs out of the menu is a bit of a problem for me right now here. And yeah, that seems very non-standard as well. I wouldn't do that personally. Not with the right mouse button. I mean, like the escape key makes sense, but um, Oh, right here. Okay. Z. Intervention is tab, whatever that means. Cast spell. Yeah, Radiant Crystal. I don't know what's going on with that. Force. Temporary. Right mouse button. Time stop is B. True sight. T. So I guess these are like some other sort of debug sort of spells or something. I mean, right clicking right now isn't doing anything, but all right, Z. All right, there. Ooh. All right, we get a little bit of healing. It's better than nothing. If I had that trinket equipped, then that would have helped, but it doesn't appear to want to do anything. Okay, in any case. Oh, so I don't think I completed my thought about this thing here. So I mentioned, having a good telegraph and everything that would help. About it leading its shots. So in this particular room where you've got this set up just right so you can run from one pillar to the other, it kind of makes sense. But if you're going to put this anywhere else in the game, having it lead its shots like that might be a little too brutal, because it's going to make it very difficult to understand how to avoid it at all. And in particular, if you have like other things in the room, other dangers, like other enemies, which is kind of a normal thing, it's a normal sort of game design, level design kind of thing. If that, when you make obstacles and dangerous things and enemies, you typically want to eventually kind of combine them in different ways so that later in the game you have different sorts of challenges, right? Because if you only ever fight enemies one-on-one, that might be okay, but you can get more variety out of the game by kind of combining them in different ways, right? And it's just a basic sort of thing to do. So if you did that with this pole thing that shoots at you, once you start considering how you might combine that with other enemies and stuff, if this thing is like perfectly leading its shots every time, and you're trying to deal with another enemy or something, that thing's gonna like tear you apart so fast. So basically, long-winded way of saying, if you just make this kind of shoot dumbly, where it just shoots where you were instead of where you're going to be, um, which obviously would make it a lot more dumb, but it would probably work out a lot better in terms of just overall gameplay. Um, so if you're just standing still too much, then it's going to blast you in the face and you're going to take damage. See, in my opinion, that would be a pretty valid design for this kind of thing. Whereas if you're just running constantly, um, as long as you're not like running directly towards or away from it, then it might miss consistently. I think that would work out fine because then at least you can say as a player, okay, as long as I'm moving, this thing won't hit me. But again, once you start introducing other things, that sort of simplicity might really be necessary. So you're like trying to deal with another enemy, and then at the same time, you have this, another part of your brain is saying, okay, this tower thing is going to shoot a laser at me if I don't keep moving. So that's going to add complexity to my encounter with this enemy, without it having to be hyper accurate by being able to lead its shots into you perfectly every time and this kind of stuff. So yeah, just stuff to consider. You can definitely get away with making this a lot more dumb than it is. What do I do with this? Can it like... Can... Oh. I guess you can kind of... Oh my gosh. You can kind of dodge that. Again, it's a little bit smarter than I want it to be, but there is a little bit of a travel time at least on the bullet there, so that helps. I'm trying to get to like shoot this door. I don't know what else that red door is. Do I just run up and press E? Can I just walk through that? So I guess if I just spam... Yeah, if I stop for a moment though, it's like... Oh my gosh. Very likely to hit me. Alright, so this thing is gonna kill me. I don't know what that red barrier type thing is, so I don't know. Maybe I can hit this thing with a sword? Is that it? Alright. Yeah, so again, I didn't think to save. Obviously, I should have saved later. I'm talking about things, so I'm not, I'm distracted is the word here, by all the things that I'm talking about. And I guess I didn't fully integrate this idea into my mind about the manual saving and everything. So I can press the one button to pull out the sword. Okay. But yeah, it's sort of like what I was talking about before, where I just lost a bunch of progress to dying because I didn't think to save. But also, yeah, I don't know what else to do at that part. Excuse me. So maybe I should finish up this playtest. It's been pretty long already, and I think we got a good amount of content for feedback and such. It'd be nice to have some kind of feedback, by the way, when trying to open this. Just tell me that it's locked or something, so that, like, it's just sort of reassuring for the game to be like acknowledging that you're trying to do something like this. It's like, yeah, you can interact with the store. You just can't, it's locked right now, so you can't go through it. That kind of feedback, it goes a long way. But yeah, so I have no idea what that red barrier thing was at the end there. It seems like there's a few times here where I'm just kind of like, I don't know what else to do. But I did eventually figure out some things. So maybe I think the game in general feels like it's a little bit tricky to figure out, but not impossible. So far, I still don't. Yeah, see, I'm colliding with his pole arm. So between the fact that my reach isn't great and the fact that I'm colliding with that, it's keeping me from being able to hit him a lot of these times because I'm like, you see how he always turns towards me every time I try and like run past him. And so he's just like keeping me out of range with that pole arm. It's a little bit janky feeling, to be honest. Even though thankfully I'm not taking damage from just like running into it or something. But yeah, a little bit awkward. So yeah, I'll go ahead and wrap this up. Definitely some parts of this are confusing. This is a little bit delayed, but ouch. See, I had this timing right before where I could just kind of run and it would work, but I guess I don't. Jeez. That does not do anything. Okay. Ouch. Holy crap. See, I'm trying to like stop and move. That was not very successful. Yeah, so I have no idea what to do about that door, but that's okay. So yeah, I think you heard my thoughts on things to a pretty exhaustive extent already. But overall, I think this is really interesting. There's definitely a lot of little wrinkles here that are kind of making themselves known, which makes for some very interesting ideas and stuff. I'm not sure if there's other games that are that any of these mechanics are kind of based on or inspired by. Like I'm not. I know that there are other games that incorporate like moving the mouse to swing in different directions and stuff like this, but I can't think of a lot of games. I can't really think of any game that I've played that has combat that functions exactly the way that this does. So, yeah, I'm not sure if there's like other things that are being used as a basis for this kind of stuff, but yeah, in general, I think this is really interesting. It definitely kind of gets the brain working a little bit more than the basic, you know, click to hack until the enemy dies kind of thing. But yeah, I definitely feel like there's some parts of it that are just very unforgiving and have a high potential for frustration, but there's also parts of it that are more interesting because they're not as simplistic. So I think it's really interesting that I'm thinking about things like fighting this guy was impossible in this narrow, where is he? This guy like is impossible in this narrow place. So if I like lure him out into this open area, now I can fight him, and like that's really interesting because that's not something you usually see in games, right? So I'm like, I can appreciate that even if it's not intuitive. But it's sort of like it's unfortunate because it makes a lot of sense in terms of it mirroring reality to some extent, but it's not intuitive because most games don't work that way, so it doesn't really follow the um, expectations that gamers might have about how these things work, you know. So yeah, for some players, that could be a really filtering sort of thing, where it's just like after getting killed by that guy a couple times, it'd just be like, nah, I'm good, you know. But on the other hand, it is really kind of interesting. I think that I can apply a little bit more reasoning to that, and then create a situation where I can fight this guy more successfully. So yeah, it's really interesting. I definitely think some of the way that the mechanics are working, the rules for you know, blocking the attacks and stuff could be smoothed out. I don't think all of this is necessary, but I do like some of the wrinkles that are being incorporated here. So yeah, hopefully that was some useful feedback for you. Level design in general is probably a little bit more confusing than it needs to be, but I think you already kind of got that point. And yeah, hopefully. Oh, okay. Hopefully you found this useful. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm very curious to see where we go from here. I didn't mean to just suddenly drag that around, but I will see you in the next video.